What's going on, guys? Welcome to the FutureSelf Podcast. I am FutureSelf. We are here with my co-host, Caleb. We are so excited that you guys are here today. We have an amazing guest, and an amazing round of topics that we're going to discuss today involving Christianity, involving TikTok, involving Kanye's new album. So I'm so happy that you guys are here. And before anything, if this makes you happy, or if you enjoy watching this in any way, hit that subscribe button, hit a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more of these, there's actually a little tiny bell notification that you can find and you can hit, and it'll actually notify you whenever we release a new video. So definitely make sure to do that if you enjoy this content at all. But we have a very special guest today. I am so pumped for this one.
I'm pumped. I'm excited.
He's beautiful. Not only externally, but internally as well, because he has a heart for God. He really loves the Lord. And most of all, you know, this guy is just a real beacon of light for a generation in which we have been, you know, cast into a lot of darkness in the world. And, you know, for people to have such a platform to speak on, I'm really happy to call this guy my friend. And he's just awesome and just an overall amazing human being, artist, musician, and person. So definitely give a warm welcome for our guest today, David Kushner.
Hey guys, what's up?
Okay. Hi, David.
Hi.
How's it going, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
Dude, I'm not going to lie. The button down, like the shirt,
Oh, the shirt? What?
it looks sexy.
Dude, thank you, man. I just got it at PacSun. I appreciate it.
You just got your what?
No, I just got this at PacSun. So I appreciate
PacSun.
it. Yeah, PacSun.
I thought you said pecs. I thought you were talking about like your
Oh,
pecs.
you're talking about, no, I'm not
Your
talking
pectoral
about my
muscles.
pecs.
Dude, so you are kind of like this amazing what's the word I'm looking for? Just like you came out of nowhere in the past 2 years. I'm looking at your Spotify right now. You have 104,000 monthly listeners. Your song "I Love You" is at 1.5 million streams. You have close to 600,000 streams with your other 3 songs. And you released this just in the past, year and a half?
6 months. Like
6
6
months?
months. Yeah.
Crazy. Now, what led you to want to do music?
I just kind of grew up like singing with my sisters. We weren't like musically inclined or anything. My sisters were just like huge fangirls of like Justin Bieber, Hannah Montana, Hannah Montana, Justin Bieber, the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah.
And then so I like would sing all of their songs with my sisters like in the car or like anything like that. So I did sing a lot growing up. I didn't think anything of it, and I just kind of fell in love with just music and like that whole world. And then I got into hip hop with like Eminem and then like a little bit of Kanye, mainly Eminem though. I would like just rap Eminem.
How old were you then?
I was probably like 7 or 8.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was pretty young. My sisters were like older. They were like 12, 13, like going into middle school. So, but yeah, so that's kind of how that started. And then I never thought like, oh, I want to pursue music. And then I eventually graduated high school 2 years ago, which is like around the time me and you both started you started TikTok in like 2019.
Yeah, late 2019.
Nice. Yeah. So I started, late 2019, like August. So I graduated high school. I worked with my father. He owns like his own business. And I didn't want to go to college. I like hated high school. School was not my thing. So I like didn't go to college, worked with my dad. I loved it. And I was
What does your dad do?
He owns a life insurance agency.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I was just doing sales, and him and his whole team, like, they just mentor a bunch of people. They recruit a bunch of sales people and just, like, train them to, like, self-develop them, like, that whole world. So, yeah, I was doing sales, and then I eventually was like, I want to, like, chase after, like, a passion on the side, like, while I'm working with my dad. Even though, like, I was already content with that, I was like, I feel like there's something else, like, I need to do, you know? So I just started, like, I got a vocal coach, and then I picked up a guitar.
And how old are you here? You're past college,
I
right?
was 18.
18? Okay.
Yeah, 18.
And this is like right when you're starting TikTok, or like
This was
before?
like 2 months before I started TikTok.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I started. I remember going to my first vocal lesson. I was like I was like a pretty good singer, like a decent singer, but definitely like not like that good. And then but yeah, I was just doing it for fun. And then played guitar, and then I was just learning that as I was doing vocal lessons. And then I started a TikTok account, and then uh, it started getting like a couple thousand views.
Okay. So hold that thought real quick.
Okay.
What led you to first do TikTok? Because we know you have 1.3 million followers, which is totally awesome.
I actually have 1.4 now.
You have
I'm just
1.4. Sorry.
No, just
1.4
kidding.
million. And you obviously have a heart for God. Now, did you start posting like Christian content on TikTok? Like how did you even get started or think about posting on TikTok?
Yeah, no, I didn't start posting Christian content until like after like the midst of blowing up. Um, yeah, so your question is when you asked like how did you start TikTok,
Yeah.
or like what made you start it? It was probably or it wasn't probably, it was Gary Vaynerchuk, if you
Bro, yes.
Yeah, so if you guys know him.
That's the reason I started TikTok too.
Really?
Yes, was literally Gary Vaynerchuk.
No way.
Yes, because he was
Bro,
talking
that's
about
crazy.
musically, and then
Yeah.
he was
Because
talking about music.
I did musically in middle school, bro. I wish.
What? Wait,
I-
really?
Yeah, I got bullied for it, so I stopped. I wish I stayed on it, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
I wish those were still out there.
I got bullied
wish you-
for it because you were making the videos like, like doing all those like movements with like to the songs. But yeah, so Gary, he was like, if you're not on effing TikTok, like you're making a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Like if you want to build your brand, if you want to like be an artist, like whatever you want to do, like there's so much there's so many possibilities and like opportunities that TikTok is gonna bring, and like I promise you, like get on it right now. So then I was like, all right, like let's try it, like why not? Like,
Yeah.
So it was just like the timing was really good with like everything, and I just hopped on TikTok, and then I started posting like some singing videos while I started like pursuing singing and like getting better. So yeah, I started posting that, and then I got a couple thousand views on like my first couple videos. And
at this time, are you posting on Instagram too, or?
yeah, so there's a whole, yeah, it's funny thinking about it. I haven't thought about it in such a long time. So I had a main Instagram account like just like through middle school, and like it had like 1,300 followers, but I was like so insecure. Like so insecure. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, I don't want to post singing videos. Like
Yeah.
everybody from school is gonna think I'm so weird. Like
And just for reference for the people watching, where did you grow up?
Barrington, Illinois. It's like
Okay.
northwest suburb of Chicago. Yeah, it's called Barrington.
So
yeah.
you're kind of worried like, these kids are gonna make fun of me because I'm posting these singing videos. I don't
Yeah,
know if I'm good enough,
that was a factor. Just like, oh, I'm not that good at singing. Like, oh, people are gonna think it's cringy. Like, and then maybe thinking about like middle school when I did musically.
Yeah.
Like, oh, people are gonna bully me again, like until I quit or until I stop. So yeah, that's basically yeah. But yeah, I had those weird thoughts. And then I eventually just made a separate account. So I ended up making a new account with no followers.
on
Which was a
Musical.ly or
stupid no
TikTok?
on Instagram,
Oh,
because I was saying
Instagram,
yeah, so
okay.
Instagram.
So you just like started fresh just for
Yeah,
music.
yeah, just for Instagram. I just made a different account. It was like David Kushner Music or like some other name, just to like get away from any sort of judgment. It was so dumb because like I already had 1,300 followers on my main Instagram, and then I start from ground zero. It's just like it wasn't the smartest decision, but that's what insecurity can do to you, you know?
Yeah, that's a valid reason, I'd say.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, like really
yeah.
talented musicians who create separate pages for very similar
Yeah,
reasons.
no, I still have friends like even now that are definitely insecure, whether I'm like, oh yeah, like get on TikTok. They're like,
Yeah.
no, like people are gonna say this, or like, oh, I'm not that good at
Yeah.
that. Like people are gonna think
So
but yeah.
on that, you've been for people not, who aren't here with us. David's been over at my house for the past couple days, just here in LA, and I know that we've talked about this, but for me, when I've been trying to convert, not saying that I'm trying to convert, for any monetary gain or anything like that, but we are trying to make fan bases here and promote our music and do this and reach the Lord. And when I've tried to convert some TikTok followers to Instagram, I've ran into this problem, and I know we were talking about this because I've been a longtime musician, and Caleb's been a longtime musician, and you were doing music before you were even doing TikTok. When I post Christian content on Instagram, I lose my music followers. because a lot of my music followers, and this is, no hate to them, you believe whatever you believe. They just don't want to hear, someone talking about something they don't believe in. And so they're like, oh, I'm here for music. This guy's now talking about the Lord. I'm not going to follow this anymore. Have you experienced anything like that? Or
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I'm trying to think back to like any certain scenarios. Yeah, for sure. Like even now, if I'll post something on like just my Instagram story, like a verse of the day or like anything from some type of other influencer or even like pastor, if I just post something, some people will just swipe up and be like, "Oh, you shouldn't be posting this because
really?
yeah, like even just stuff, yeah, so like, oh, you shouldn't be posting this, like it could offend somebody or like, oh, this isn't true, or like I'll have atheists like try and DM me and be like, oh, like, or well, most of the time, I mean, especially I feel like with influencers, atheists will come, well, Christian influencers, atheists will be like very malicious and like just troll you, and like that's their
Yeah.
main motive, rather than like have like a respectful conversation about different worldviews and like beliefs and stuff. But
They love it. They get so excited.
yeah,
Like, they just
so
love to troll.
yeah, so
They
at that
get so
point, yeah,
excited.
whenever that happens, it's kind of like there's no point in continuing this conversation with those people. But yeah, no, definitely. Even just like political stuff too. Like I've posted some kind of like political things in the past, and this girl from my high school, she showed it to like her friend, and then her friend like posted it on Twitter, and then it started blowing up on Twitter. Oh, this like white influencer David Kushner.
Crazy.
Yeah,
on,
so
on
ne-
Twitter?
yeah,
And
yeah,
this was trending on Twitter, and you don't even know
Yeah,
why.
And
yeah.
this was from TikTok?
yeah. No. So it was from Instagram. It was when all of like the George Floyd protests were going on.
Okay.
I said something like religious, like mixed with politics, and then or I maybe it wasn't even religious. I think it was just something political that was like whether
Okay.
like white privilege or like something, responding to one of my fans in my DMs.
Okay.
And then the fan like knew this girl from my school, sent it to her, and the girl from my school posted it, and it started to like blow up, and then people on Twitter were like, "Oh, like I hope he effing dies, that effing worth it." Like, yeah, like
Really?
crazy, yeah. So I mean, that's
Wow.
just as far. Yeah, I didn't mean to veer off into like the political
No,
stuff,
no, it's
but
totally okay.
but yeah, I mean, just like overall, when you were asking like, has anything happened with like posting religious
Yeah.
stuff? But yeah, religious and political, I've gotten a lot of stuff like feedback that's negative and all that stuff. So
I feel like whenever you have a platform, people expect you to, like, you're not allowed to have opinions about stuff in the world. Like, you can't have religious, political, like,
Yeah.
any sort of opinion like that whenever you have a platform, because it's like anything that could be divisive, like, you're not allowed to do. Like, you just
Exactly.
have to stick to what you do. Like,
yeah,
just make your music and, like,
exactly
get the bag and leave. Like, that's all they want.
Amen. Yeah, no, it's pretty toxic. I agree. That definitely is like a stigma for sure. And it makes it hard too, because like if you're trying to like monetize your platform or like make it like your business,
Right.
and like you want to post about Jesus, because obviously like we're commanded to do
Right.
that and like make disciples and like witness to people. And then when you post stuff about God or like your beliefs, then like you'll lose part of like your business in a
Right.
sense, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like
It makes
it's
it really difficult.
yeah.
It's-
So I definitely see. I definitely know what you're saying. But yeah.
Yeah, so back in 2019, when I first jumped on TikTok, though I was listening to Gary Vee too, because
He's so good.
he's so great, and I had been listening to Gary Vee since like 2015. So I started. I don't know about you.
Oh
but
yeah, dude, I've been following him for so long.
so long, because he's great, and he's someone who really knows the social space, because he was an early investor in Facebook, he was an early investor in Twitter. I'm pretty sure Twitter, but he got offered Uber a bunch of times and turned it down famously. But he also really said jump on TikTok, and for the longest time I had been trying to build my fan base on Instagram. And me and my buddy Justin Johnson, who's awesome photographer too, awesome musician too. He makes some really great music. He and I were literally like working in the studio for, I kid you not, 2 years. You know this
Yeah, I
too.
remember that.
We
I remember.
quite literally, me and my buddy Justin
Mm-hmm.
we were just following Gary Vee's advice. And
Oh, I think you were telling me about him.
I think I was
he
telling
like
you about this.
he just recently started working for somebody.
Yeah, he has the Jason Derulo gig now.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, the filmer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were talking.
he works for Jason Derulo now, and so, but that came out of us working for like quite literally 2 years straight. Every single day, we would come into the studio, film content, film audio for quite literally like 6 hours straight, from like 8 p.m. till
I
3
remember
a.m.
that, bro. At the old studio, we'd
Yeah.
have everyone, like just all our homies would pull up, random
Yes.
people, anyone who would play would pull up, and we just, you guys recorded everything.
Everything,
Everything
bro.
got
So
filmed.
funny.
Everything. I wonder whatever happened to those, all
We
those
have-
videos, those
bro,
archives.
We have a bunch of it. I'm sure Justin, if he's gonna watch this for sure, I'm gonna let him know. But I'm sure he has some footage too, because it was like, and it's really funny because I know we're gonna look back in like 3-4 years when we're like, we're really starting to hit some crazy success. Because we're like, this is David. Like, I hope you know this. Like right now, you're at like the not even the beginning of like your success, man. Like you are an extremely talented guy.
Thank
And,
you. Appreciate it.
I honestly believe that TikTok's going to be around, for the next possibly 10 years,
Oh,
I
definitely.
see it, really falling into the space of, like the YouTubes and the Facebooks and
Yeah.
the Instagrams of the world, and the Twitters of the world, like, and there's obviously going to be a bunch of other competitive platforms like TikTok that came out of the gate, out of the blue, that like really did well. But I see TikTok having longevity because it has this cultivation over the short form content,
It does, yeah.
And so, but anyways, so we were grinding Gary Vee content and literally just posting on Instagram like every single day, posting on YouTube every other day, and nothing was happening. Like quite literally nothing was happening. We
That's
did that
crazy.
for 2 years and nothing happened. And then we started hearing Gary Vee talk about TikTok. And at this point, we were kind of like, dude, Gary Vee is full of it. Like none of this stuff is working. Like Gary Vee really doesn't know what he's talking about. Like we've been doing everything he's been talking about and nothing's been working. And TikTok happened and then it just all clicked. Like I literally was in the car one day and I was listening to him and I was like, this is stupid. I'm not going to post on TikTok. And then my car motor, this is if you go back to my Instagram.
Bro, I remember.
Do you remember this? So the very first TikTok I ever posted, it was literally my car engine catching on fire and just dying on the
No
freeway.
way.
Yeah, so I'm like, this is a great TikTok. And so I pull up my phone and I'm recording my car breaking down on the middle of the freeway. And I'm like swerving over these lanes as people are going like 80 miles an hour past me. And I pulled over and I'm on the side of the freeway and my engine just broke. And that was my first TikTok, and it got like 12,000 views, which was more
Dang.
which at the time was more than I had ever gotten in the 2 years we were posting.
So what was your reaction to when that happened? Like,
I
were
was
you
like, I'm
oh
gonna post
my
every single day.
gosh.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, and because the crazy part was, I posted that, and I was like, dude, I've been trying to get this type of coverage on my videos for quite literally like 2 years straight. And it hasn't happened.
And then you just filmed your car breaking down on your phone, and it
literally
gets 12,000 views like that.
And so that night I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. So I was like, I wonder, and I don't know if you remember too, because Caleb's a really long time friend of me, and Sam behind the camera too. Shout out Sam Victoria. He's a other sexy beast here too. He's a longtime friend of mine too. I started posting Christian content on Instagram.
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like right before TikTok came out, I was like, well, maybe people will want to listen to.
Yeah, it was like right after you graduated, like right when you got back from Boston, pretty much.
Yeah.
I remember you started posting a lot.
And so that night when my car broke down, I was like, why don't I try posting some Christian content on TikTok? Because maybe it'll do well. So my car broke down. I posted like 3 videos. It probably in total got like 17,000 views. I went home. I got on my knees and I did a prayer. And I like filmed it live and like I prayed. And then I filmed like a video. This was right when the first the Jesus is King Kanye album came out. And so I did a TikTok to that. What's that one song? We the Soldiers. You know what I'm talking about? It's like the 3rd song off the album. It's Hallelujah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
talking about?
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
think about the melody right now. But anyways, I posted it to that and it got like 20,000 views. And I was like,
That's crazy.
and so then from there I posted Christian content. But how did the Christian content come out? Like, were you really like, were you a Christian like your whole life? Like, why such the conviction to talk about Jesus?
Yeah. Yeah, I was like a Christian. Like I knew like, oh yeah, Jesus like died for you. Like I didn't have like full wisdom or knowledge of God. Like I never really asked him for it growing up. Even though like yeah, I wasn't like fully raised in the church, but like we were. Like my mom was definitely the rock of our family's faith.
I love that.
And but yeah, so we would go to church, my mom, my dad, we would just all go, kind of just like nonchalantly, is that a word?
Yeah,
Nonchalantly. And yeah, I just did that whole thing growing up, and we do like some devotions, like me and my mom and my sister, and then but yeah, so back to the TikTok thing. Yeah, so I was just posting, started blowing up. Well, I didn't really explain like, so I did like the music TikTok. That was a totally separate account from my main one now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
On
I
TikTok?
yeah, so it's
Crazy.
still up. There's like my first old singing video. Yeah.
What's it called for people to go look at it?
I think it's like David Kushner, but the U is like a V. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
So if you guys want to go try and find that, it's like some old singing videos of mine. But
People are gonna pull that up and like post them.
Yeah.
Right after you saying that.
yeah, they're gonna be like,
They're
dang, bro.
circulating through TikTok.
Yeah,
again.
literally. That's so funny. But yeah, so started posting singing on that separate account, and then it kind of just like my views kind of dropped a little, and then I kind of stopped for a while, and then I can't remember exactly, but I think I went on like vacation with my family, and then I came back and created a whole new account,
Okay.
and then I think it's because I saw like just the basic like Jaden Hostler, Josh Richards, Bryce Hall, like all those like Pretty Boy, like because that's kind of like their like.
Well, I'm pretty sure they
not-
were also doing Musically prior too.
No, yeah,
And
yeah,
that
they
was
were.
definitely like Pretty Boy,
Yeah.
duet video.
I hate like explaining it, but like that's just like that was just like how
Yeah.
they started. It was just like their looks, like getting girls to like be fans of them, and like, but obviously their content's way different now. But yeah, so I basically just copied them. I think that's kind of why that's why I started a new account. I was like I can like do what they're doing. Like I can build a fan base.
Yeah.
Like considering how crazy this app is and like this algorithm, I was like, I can do this. So literally I create the account, and literally like right as I started posting and like kind of taking inspiration from their posts, I just started blowing up right away.
Really?
Yeah, so I kind of like, I wasn't like surprised when I started blowing up because I just knew I could do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty crazy. I just like woke up from my main video that blew up. It got me like 20,000 followers. It was my second video.
Really?
Yeah, and then
And this was on the other account, right?
yeah, this was the new account. I posted one video. It did like 8,000, 9,000 views, which was pretty good. And then
At the time.
yeah, at the time. And then the next day, I posted a second video, and then I posted it late at night, and then I went to bed. I was like, this is gonna blow up. Like I knew.
Crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
so like I kind of knew like
Is that
what I
video
was
still up
doing.
on your page?
Yeah, it's still up on my. If you scroll all the way down, it's my second video. But fair warning, it's very cringy. Very cringy. So, but yeah, so I woke up and I was like in complete awe. I was like, no way. Like, even though I kind of like knew what I was doing, I was like, this is insane. Like, I can definitely like monetize this eventually, or like just build something out of this. Even though obviously music was the first goal with my old account, I was like, I'll just build like what's working now and then bring my music back into it, like work on my craft behind the scenes.
Right.
So that's kind of what I started doing, is even though I didn't blow up from music, which is what I would want to happen, it was just more so just like me and like my personality, because then I started posting like motivational content. So literally like Gary Vee content.
Okay,
Yeah, because like that was just like self-development,
Yeah.
and like I was always like passionate about that stuff. Like me and my dad, because my dad's like a businessman, and he's always like owned businesses and
Life insurance. stuff.
yeah, life insurance. He was always so motivated, and like he's the one who really got me into that. So I started posting that, and that's what mainly started blowing me up even more. Like, I had so many videos go like super viral from that.
Like how many views?
Probably like my biggest video with like that type of like self-help, probably like 6-7 million.
Crazy.
Yeah, which is like pretty big. and then after that I just kept posting those, and then I would like bleed music into it like a little bit. I'd post like a singing cover, or like tell people that like, oh yeah, like I'm writing music behind the scenes, kind of like keep it like mysterious, like keep them kind of like like craving, like, oh, like he has music coming, like something to look forward to, so that they're like excited about something that I'm doing. So yeah, that's kind of what would mainly happen, and then, or that's what I mainly did. And then yeah, so the Christian stuff, yeah, so the way like it's really weird, or it's not weird. I just like one day started just like having this like weird, like people would call it like, oh, you're becoming consciously woke, or like I don't know, like
Whatever that means.
yeah, no, a lot of people, whenever I explain this, like it's specifically like more like new age people, they're like, oh, that's your inner chakras, or like inner self
Wow.
coming out. Yeah,
What does that
so-
mean?
Yeah, I was like, what does that mean? But so yeah, I started like, it mainly started with like doubting God, where like the way, I haven't explained this in so long, so I'm trying to think of like the best way to explain it, because there was so much that happened. It was mainly from like stuff that like was not like it wasn't really Christian to post, like kind of like bad stuff where I'm like cussing a ton, or like
Oh,
stuff like
really?
that. Yeah, so like it involves like where I was like sinning, like cussing, or like thirst trap videos. Yeah, I was that kid, so I would post like some thirst trap videos like Bryce Hall would do, or like
Yeah.
stuff like
coming out of the shower. Vinny
yeah,
Hacker,
exactly.
you know, like-
Something. Yeah, Vinny Hacker is a great modern like example. Yeah, stuff like that. But I started getting like conviction from it. But at the time, I didn't know like that's what it was.
So would you say that your faith has significantly grown just on your journey from being, you know, a Christian to being a Christian leader?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like literally without me being on TikTok and that whole like part of my life, yeah, I wouldn't be as close as I am with God or anything. Like I wouldn't be. Yeah, sometimes I think like I wouldn't even be a Christian at all. Cause like the way, like, to dumb it down without like the details, it was basically just like, yeah, I got conviction, and then I started like doubting God in like a way that like, okay, like if I can prove he's not real, then I can keep posting like way worse stuff, you know, to get
Yeah.
more and more clout. Cause like, yeah, like if you post worldly stuff, like it's gonna
Yeah.
blow up, and like people like, yeah, there's a lot of that stuff that gets promoted more than Christian content. But yeah, so it mainly just started with doubt. Like I was just a very skeptical person. I mean, I still am. It's just like one of my, like, it's a flaw, but it's also like good.
Yeah,
Like
it is. It is. It's really
yeah,
good.
I was just a very deep thinker. But yeah, I remember like the specific night where like I went downhill from TikTok, or like while I was blowing up on TikTok is what I mean. I was just like doubting for like this certain week, and then I was like I started having panic attacks after panic attacks after panic attacks, and it was like really bad. Yeah, just from all doubting God, cause like it's kind of like you're like getting robbed of your faith. That's kind of how it felt, you know. So, cause it was also, but now looking back, it was just like the Holy Spirit like convicted me, like, oh, like you need to get closer with God. Like you don't know that much. Like you need to like follow God more, pray more, speak to God more. Like it was just me realizing like, oh, like this my whole life I've believed in God, but like I don't know like that much about this God. Like who is this God? Like is God even real? And that was like the main thing. It was like, oh, is God real or is he not real? It's like this black and white, like, oh, I just want to know, like, yes, like he's real. Like so yeah, it took a huge emotional toll on me, and like yeah, that was probably like the darkest part of like my one of like the darkest, most like depressing times like of my life while I was blowing up on TikTok. And,
Yeah.
like people would have never known. So yeah, so then that's kind of what sparked me starting to like post more Christian content. Like the way I explain it is just like I just started like really studying like just like life and like science and like philosophy and like everything, and just like educate myself more on like, I don't know, it's really weird. I just got super deep into like philosophy because I was like doubting God and like,
You just wanted answers.
yeah, I just
looking
wanted
for
answers about
yeah.
life. Yeah, I just didn't care about like everything else. I remember like didn't matter. Like I didn't care about anything. My TikTok, like anything else. I was like, I need to like,
You just need to know, is God
yeah,
real? Is he not real?
exactly.
And
But not
because then you can give your whole life to him.
exactly. So that's kind of,
It is so necessary for us to go through these seasons in which we have to explore the reasons to which we believe, why we believe, if God's real, and what's, the evidence about God's real, because we're not up here trying to say, we're perfect people. And I think that this is such a great platform to talk about this because I'm not a perfect person. I'm such a sinner. Like I'm such a sinner. I'm such a terrible person. In the grand scheme of things, of life.
and that's why Christ is so good, because now we're seen righteous in his eyes,
Yeah.
and we're no longer like a sinner, and we're seen righteous in
But I
him.
think that people look at you or look at me or look at like David Ladding or look at Alex or look at Jacob and they think, wow, look at this amazing Christian who has all this faith, which they do. They must not go through, and they don't. This may not even be a conscious thing, but it's like they must not go through struggle. They must not sin. And I can tell you from personal conversations with all of those guys that each one of them has their own struggles and have been through the valleys and have gone through doubt and have gone through seasons in which they are struggling with sin, and I struggle with sin, and it's a every single day battle. It's an every single day conviction.
Amen.
And it's an every single day, step forward to try and become better. Like there's so many things. Like I think people have this idea, and people look at Christians oftentimes as, why aren't they perfect? And so what happens is people become Christians and they adopt this ideological framework in which they perceive that in order to be a Christian, you have to be perfect. And they live their life according to that ideological framework in which they say, I'm perfect, I don't have sin. I'm trying to be like Christ, which is awesome, but it becomes themselves, it becomes their personality. And so they walk around, broadcasting this thing of, perfection and of, trying to seem as if they're perfect when in reality they're broken and they're going through their own struggles and God is working on them. But the cool part about becoming Christian, and I had to wrestle with this myself, is, well, what do you gain from becoming a Christian? Like, what's so different about David than someone who's a non-believer? Well, it's the forgiveness. You haven't, I kid you not, and I'm saying this to anybody who's not a believer or who's on the fence. If you've never experienced the forgiveness that is found only through the cross of Jesus Christ, then there's a huge hole missing in your life. Because what he did on that cross is he paid the price for all of the times that we mess up on a daily basis. And those mess ups can even be things that are completely subconscious, like pride or arrogance or blasphemy or just things that we don't even know that we're doing. Like
Gluttony.
yeah, literally, literally. Like there's obvious sins like, oh, this person got drunk, or oh, this person had sex out of marriage, or oh, these things that are just really, stone cold. But there's a lot of things that, are just subconscious.
And kind of like what you were saying earlier about this perception that Christians have to be perfect. I feel like a lot of people, like Christians especially, walk around with that, like this like title as if they're perfect, and I feel like that turns a lot of non-believers off to the possibility that this could be real or anything like that, because they see how a lot of Christians act, unfortunately, and it's not welcoming in a lot of ways. And
Yeah.
even on top of that, like if Christians could be perfect, there would be no need for this. Like
Exactly.
you wouldn't even need the cross. You wouldn't need Jesus. Like there would be no story. There would be no need for this religion at all, really, if we could be perfect. So I feel like that's part of the beauty of it, is we're not perfect, and that's why it's so important that we have this.
Yeah.
Amen.
I totally agree. I think going to, I've always been in secular school. Like growing up, we went to a high school that was very, progressive in the arts, which was awesome, and then I went from there. I went to another school, the New England Conservatory. Excuse me. Extremely progressive as well. Extremely progressive in the arts, extremely progressive in ideological frameworks. And when I went to a Christian university, what I saw is that a lot of people carry around this persona of trying to seem as if they're perfect.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like it does nothing but hurt yourself. Like you're holding yourself to a standard that you will never reach.
Yeah.
And like either you're putting a lot of stress and heartache on yourself, or you're just fooling yourself, and you're actually like often cases I feel like you're either not saved or you have a false view of just what Christianity is supposed to be and what you're called to do as a Christian, because projecting perfection out to the world isn't helping anyone, like especially not you, and it's not furthering the kingdom of God in any way, I feel.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about what you were talking about, and I think that a lot of people are gonna be pretty amazed that you were doubting.
Oh
God.
yeah, it was scary.
No,
Like,
that's
it
so
can
nice
be
to hear you say
scary.
that though, because I feel like that's a very common thing
Oh, yeah,
amongst
it's so common.
all
Yeah,
Christians. Like I feel like you don't go throughout life without doubting.
Definitely. And like the enemy would also try and like convince me like, "Oh, because you're doubting, that means you lack belief." So for those of you that doubt, like just know doubt isn't like the lack of belief at all. It's like you still have faith in God. And God invites your questions, your fears, your like he just invites your doubt overall. So
Side note, there's a great quote that I heard at a lecture hall I went to. It said, "Don't worship the doubt, worship God." So like oftentimes we have these doubts, and they're legitimate doubts. Like, okay, I'm worshiping this guy who existed 2,000 years ago in in Jerusalem, and he walked around. No, seriously, like
for
this is
30 years and then he died.
and then he died, and it's like, and that's who I'm putting my faith into. And so you have to seriously wrestle with these hard questions.
Yeah.
But don't, while you're wrestling with those hard questions, and you're trying to figure out what truth is, don't worship the process of doubting. If that makes sense. Worship God.
Yeah. Doubt can propel you into faith.
Yeah,
Way
like-
stronger faith.
Yep.
Like Peter was called to, like Christ called Peter to walk on water, and he doubted and he fell, and then Peter ended up like being one of the like most important builders of the church, like
Yep.
in the years following Jesus' death. So it's like
Exactly.
it like that doubt propelled him to become who he was.
It's so funny. Someone DM'd me the other day, and they said, "Man, I just became Christian," and this is like a younger guy. And I know that you have a lot of these experiences too, and we've talked about this, but I get all these DMs from kids who are like 13, 14, 15, 16, and they've just had broken homes. They've had broken families. Their dad died of cancer, like just the worst situations. And this one kid reached out to me, and he said, I just became a Christian. My family went through this whole thing, and my best friends are all atheists, and we're growing older, and they want to drink, and I can't be in that situation, but I love these people, and I'm gonna walk away from these friends. What do I do? And I said to him, well, who did Jesus hang out with? Right?
Yeah.
Because that's the answer. Is who did Jesus spend his time with? Jesus didn't spend his time with the Pharisees, the people who were these God-filled people. He spent his time with the prostitutes, the fraudulent tax
collectors, and
literally,
fishermen.
and fishermen. That's who he spent his time with. So if you for one moment think that you should be spending your time with these Christians who think that they're perfect and that think that they have the entire world figured out, then you don't quite understand the life of Jesus, because Jesus went to the people who were broken, who were needy, who were destroyed, who were sinners, who were fraudulent people, who lied to people, who stole from people, because he knew that inside of them was this greatness and was this heart, like you were saying about Peter. And Peter doubted, and they all sinned, and they all doubted Christ when he went to the cross, even though they had seen him feed 10,000 people, even though they had seen him walk on water. When he was at the cross, they were like, "Oh yeah, you take him." Like you take him.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's crazy. But moving on to the next subject, like, have you gotten a lot of DMs? Like, what's the craziest DM you've ever gotten from TikTok
Craziest DM.
that you can think of?
Craziest DM. Like as far as
Just it could
like
be
God?
anything.
anything.
But you could talk about God too. It's all good.
You go through like thousands of these.
Yeah. I mean like
Do you read all your DMs?
no. I
Yeah.
mean there's so many.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
But yeah, I would say, oh my gosh, there's definitely so many weird, crazy DMs. But the one that's on the top of my head right now is this one guy. He like would DM me every day, and I never accepted it to like respond, but he would DM me every day, and he would like call me like a little girl or like some weird. Yeah, it was really weird. He would be like,
Little girl.
yeah, he would be like, oh baby, like baby David, like oh my little girl, like yeah. But then, but plot twist. I mean, it's not really a plot twist, but like I like kind of stalked his account, and then I like I'm pretty sure, obviously I don't know the guy, but like I'm pretty sure he was like special needs or something.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, that's like, yeah. So a lot of like the DMs, like I've gotten a lot of DMs like that, just super weird. And yeah, a couple occasions where like I'm like, I'll like look at their account and I'm pretty sure like they were special needs.
Okay.
So
Crazy.
yeah, so yeah, crazy. Michael always says crazy.
I recently taught David about crazy. You
So
know,
I started
when
saying
I
it.
say crazy a bunch.
Yeah, I know.
So I started saying, because
crazy.
I would laugh every time he'd say that. Like if we're working on a song or like an idea, he's like crazy, bro. Like he's like producing it. He's like, dude, crazy. But yeah, So yeah, there's definitely a lot of weird DMs.
So on the topic of producing, you know, what's on the next? What's coming up for David Kushner in terms of music? I know you got a lot coming. What are you releasing next? What's in the future for you? Do you see albums coming? What do you think is in the future for you for music?
Yeah. So I'm here in LA, and I was here with one of my producers. His name's John. Fire. He's the one. He's the producer that has done all my records so far, because I only have 3 out right now, and we just did my 4th one, which is the one that's coming out next, and we drove to Vegas. So we were just in Vegas because there's a studio out there that I use for some of my music, and like specifically a mic that I always search for.
What's the mic? Tell the people.
Sony C800.
Yeah.
It's Louis Capaldi's mic,
Yeah, it's a good mic.
and I love Louis Capaldi, so that's his mic, and it's such a good mic too. But anyway, yeah, so it's a song. It's my 4th song I recorded. It's called "Love You from Far Away." So most of my songs are like sad, very meaningful, like emotional.
Okay, so I have a question for you because I've never actually talked to you about this, so this will be interesting. It sounds like you're talking about a girl in almost every single one of your songs.
Crazy.
Like crazy. Like imagine dating girl is crazy.
Crazy.
Couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Not because I'm gay or anything, guys. I wasn't implying that.
Not
Just because I
because
haven't had a
I'm
girl.
gay.
I haven't had a girlfriend.
Not that there's anything wrong with that either.
Yeah, now there's
no,
anything
no,
wrong.
but I just haven't had a girlfriend like in just
Ever.
That's false. But
That's a story for another.
Okay.
So
But
funny.
it sounds like you're talking about like the worst heartbreak ever, and I know you're in the best relationship ever with your girlfriend Nicole.
Yeah.
So who is that about, and what are you talking about in your songs, man?
Yeah, so my 2 songs that I first released, the first one was Illy, like I Love You.
Fire.
And then the second one was To Let You Go. And yeah, they're both sad, like about a girl, whatever. They're not about a girl that I dated or like any girl that I know. So yeah, I mean,
Crazy.
the relationship I'm in with Nicole right now is like my first like real relationship.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I dated like a girl in high school, and it was just like a 3-month like fling sort of thing.
Right.
But like we were like dating. But yeah, so yeah, they're not about any specific girl. So for those of you that see my TikToks and you think they're like, oh, I can't believe you wrote this about a girl that you're still in love with and you're in this healthy relationship. So it's not about a girl.
Just relatable stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just relatable stuff. Yeah, those first 2 songs I wrote with a close friend of mine at the time. We don't talk anymore now. But yeah, he was a writer. So
we don't
wrote,
talk anymore
we don't talk anymore.
like we used.
to do. That's a good song.
Serendipitously breaks out into song.
But yeah, so wrote those 2 songs with. So it's actually funny. So the guy I wrote it with, he was a close friend at the time, and both of them are actually about his ex.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they
there it
are
is.
about a girl, just not anything from my own personal experience. Yeah, so they were about his ex, and while we were writing those, and then like after the release and everything, while So the first one, I Love You, we wrote that literally the night that he knew that he was going to break up with her. So
Oh,
he
wow.
like wrote that in preparation to like how he knows he's going to feel about everything.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, it's really
And
cool.
that was your first single.
Yeah, that was my first single. We wrote it in LA, and we wrote it in like an hour, and then that was my first single. But yeah, and then the second one is To Let You Go, and that's also about the same girl that I wrote the song with my friend, and yeah, it's about his ex, and they both like intertwine like the lyricism. They both like
That's cool.
yeah, so they both intertwine, like they're very like thematic, so they both like relate. But yeah, so that's kind of how that happened.
How long ago did you release like I Love You? That was your first release, right?
Yeah,
How long
so
ago was
that was I was April 9th.
of this year?
Yeah,
Damn.
that was when it first came out, April 9th, and then
So it's done pretty well.
oh
Like,
yeah, no, it's done
in
really
a
good.
short span. Like,
Yeah, it's done
how
really
did-
good.
Do you think that this? Sorry to cut you off, but
No, you're good.
do you think that this short success is going to hinder you in the long run, or do you think that this is like the exact springboard? I have my own opinion on it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Hinder? What do you mean?
Like, do you think that the amount of success you're having right now is going to stop your drive to keep producing music? Do you think it's going to like in the long term, like 10 years down the line? Because I know you want to do music long term.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where do you see yourself because of this short term success that you've had so far?
Yeah, right now I just see myself just continuously writing and just like enjoying the process, because I feel like if people get like short-term success like that, if they're a very like driven person and they love doing what they're doing, like from the success that they've gotten from whatever it is that they were doing, it'll kind of be like a detriment to them, because they can get like really serious and like
Exactly.
really stressed out. And I have been really stressed out. So like recently is like the most stressed I've ever been about music, and like anxious, and like I didn't really know why. I mean, it definitely started from like other music things, related things that happened, where like kind of like my friend I was explaining to Michael a couple days ago at his house. There was like a writer I used to work with, but now we don't. We had like a bad toxic falling out. So that was like after I released like my 2 songs that I wrote with him. So we don't talk anymore. We don't. Now I think
I keep on hearing
I'm gonna
that
think of that song since you did that. But yeah, so that was kind of like the start of like really bad stress and like anxiety, and like kind of like not enjoying the process like I did when I first started making my first 2 songs. Like it was super like just like super fun and like super, I'm trying to find like the word, like exciting, and like, oh, like something is amazing, or like something amazing is to come from this, and like it's still like that, but it was just like different before. But yeah, so basically my whole point is just like short-term success with someone, they can like, it could just be a detriment, and it could just really be their downfall, you know? So it's really important of how you handle everything that's happening with any like sort of success you have, or especially within social media and like clout and like having eyes on you and like all that stuff. So yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, as far as like me, back to the whole point, but yeah, so basically just like writing music, just having fun, enjoying like the process, like I said. And
Gary Vee, enjoy the process.
yeah, exactly. So I think that's the most important
literally
thing.
written on my,
really?
my whiteboard right there. Enjoy the
Fire.
process.
Yeah, guys, enjoy the process, whatever you're doing.
It says enjoy the process. Romans 4:17. Look up the verse.
4:17.
Look up the verse.
Fire. Crazy. But yeah, just continuously working on my craft, not like rushing anything, and just really learning to be patient, because like I'm definitely like, it's definitely hard to be patient sometimes, like just with anything. You just want success like this, or like you want this to happen, like just with anything, not even like success, just with like my songs, even like, oh, I want like a song to happen, or like I want to make a song really fast. But yeah, so just working on my craft, that's all.
Now, a short break from our sponsors. What's going on, guys? We got to shout out Oak Sound for sponsoring the audio in this video. David and I have been working with Oak Sound with the Soothe V2 is absolutely my favorite plugin right now. Soothe V2 in Spiff, probably some of the best, if not the best, EQ removals for vocal enhancers, for de-essing, the absolute best. So good. I use it on every single track, almost every single track that I run any audio through. It is the best, no joke. And I wouldn't be saying that if it wasn't true. Secondly, we got to shout out these LED lights. Oh, actually, I'm gonna cut that. What's the other one? Oh, audio TV. Okay. Secondly, we got to shout out TZ Audio Stellar. Stellar, not.
You're fumbling the bag there.
It's okay.
What happened?
I'm just waiting for Caleb. I'm waiting for Caleb to sit down. I'm waiting for Caleb. Okay, there we go. Shout out TZ Audio for sending us this incredible mic that David is using right now. It sounds impeccable. They are a great company. This is the Stellar X2. You can get it on Amazon. It is the best mic for its price point on the market. Shout out TZ Audio.
It's crazy.
And back to the podcast. Okay. Yeah, so David, you have a lot of really cool music on the horizon. I know that we've been working on some really, really cool stuff. I know that you've been talking about wanting to branch off into other things, but still remaining true to your sound right now. What can your listeners expect in the next, several months coming? And what do you have in mind to explore not only other avenues, but your own sound going forward in music?
Yeah, as far as like from here to the next couple months, like I said, I just made my fourth song that I'm gonna release soon.
What's the name of it?
It's called "Love You from Far Away." It's another like
Fire.
sad song. It's another sad song. But yeah, so just made that one. This one's definitely like my best record I've done, so I'm really
You think
excited
so?
for it. Yeah, it definitely is. Just vocally and lyrically and everything.
I've heard it. It's pretty incredible.
Thanks.
It's pretty incredible.
Thanks, Mike. But yeah, so I'm excited for that one. It'll probably come out maybe like next month because we're still doing some production work on it and just trying to make it sound the best for you guys. But yeah, I'm excited for it. But yeah, me and Mike have been working on some cool ideas, and it's definitely different from what I'm used to, but it's more centered around like faith and like Christianity. And like we've been experimenting with some cool sounds, and yeah, it sounds really good. So the plan is like I kind of had an idea of just making like a separate artist account or like identity, and posting a lot of cool like experimental. You don't even need to say like experimental, but just like just mainly like Christian songs, and like there's some artists to give like an example for. He's actually blowing up on TikTok. I think I showed you him. His name's Montel Fish.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Super great.
Yeah.
It
so
does sound like that type of stuff.
yeah, it's like it's just well no, so my point is that he has like two separate kind of like artist accounts, like his own like main identity, just like his name, Montel, on Spotify. And then he has this really cool Christian artist name. It's called like Lord's Child. And yeah, he's growing like exponentially. He's growing so much, and he's definitely witnessing to a lot of people and spreading the love of Christ and like everything through his music. So I kind of got really inspired by it, and to start like a second artist account and just post like Christian music and just anything different than from what my sound is now, which is like kind of like the more mainstream, like Olivia Rodrigo or like Louis Capaldi, like in that world. So
Which is awesome.
yeah, which is great, and that's like what I've always loved in like that sound. So, but yeah, me and Mike have been working on some really cool ideas centered around God and everything. We have one track that we just finished, and it's kind of like an EDM pop mix.
That one goes crazy.
Yeah, that one goes crazy.
That one goes crazy.
Yeah, when you hear it, it's really cool. It's a really cool sound. So, but yeah, so the separate name. Excuse me. There it is. The separate name, like for the separate artist account, it would be called Dav, like just DAV. So the first three letters of my first name.
That's sick.
But the inspiration behind it is my fan base. Not too long ago, they started calling me Dav, like in my live, like, oh, Dav, like, what are you working on next? And then I would read it. I'd be like, Dav. I was like, why are you guys calling me Dav? I was like, it's kind of fire, though.
It is cool.
And then they were
cool.
and then they were like, you should change your artist name to that. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of fire. And then I kind of just had it in the back of my head, and I was like, that'd be just a cool name just to like either start a separate artist account and like post Christian stuff on there. Because like I know that the Lord like wants me to, make Christian music, for his glory, and like definitely witness to people in that way, like through music. So yeah, there's a lot of ideas and plans coming as far as like my music and stuff like that I'm excited for. And yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see it. So, but yeah.
I like Dav. Dav is cool.
Thanks.
Dav,
Yeah,
like,
I think it's pretty
It's
cool.
like Kleb, but way cooler.
Kleb is
Kleb.
Caleb's gamer tag.
Yeah, that's my alias.
Side note.
Oh, really?
Caleb's also trash at
cool.
Warzone.
That's just
Side
not
note.
true.
It is true.
Are you on
It is
console
true.
or PC?
Hey,
I'm
listen.
on console,
Oh,
but I'm
really?
the best console player ever.
It's just false. You know who's the worst console player ever? Is David.
What?
David was
You
absolute.
said
you, were,
what?
you were absolute garbage the other
No,
day.
I don't
You were
play
absolute
Warzone.
garbage. You
Bro,
were
I got okay. Bro, if we play tonight or tomorrow, bro, I swear I'll be better. I mean, I'm not used to your brother's PC, number one, but I haven't played Warzone. bro.
His brother's
Okay.
sweaty, bro. His brother's so sweaty.
Yeah, I mean
That's
console, I'm garbage on because
For
I.
a reason, like you're still bad.
Yeah. Wait, his brother's actually garbage.
No, his brother's really good actually.
Oh,
Good,
really?
he's good.
But yeah, dude, that hurt my feelings, man.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Hey, listen.
Well, no,
listen.
'cause
The
I
truth
have
hurts
a
sometimes,
PC.
David. The truth hurts.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The truth hurts. That's funny. It's true, but
No, you weren't bad. You weren't bad. On PC, you were like significantly better.
yeah, dude, console. I haven't played console in like years. I played Call of Duty growing up. For those of you that don't know, like other things about me, I'm a gamer, like a nerd gamer. I grinded
Nerd gamer.
Fortnite. Yeah, nerd gamer. I don't know how else to classify that. But yeah, I grinded Fortnite, Call of Duty growing up on Xbox, and then
MW2 game.
oh my gosh, dude, bring MW2
wait, stop,
back.
Stop everything. Name the top 3 CODs. Go.
Bro,
Name the name.
You're
no,
always trying to do
Name-
this. You're always
name
trying
the
to
top
be
3
like,
CODs.
oh, I played MW2.
No, stop.
That's literally like, your
stop,
whole
stop,
personality is,
stop.
oh, I played MW2.
Stop. Because it was the best game.
really was,
MW2
okay.
is the best game. Name your CODs. Go.
It's in no particular order.
No,
It's
no.
Black Ops 1, MW2, Black Ops 3. Not in that order.
What about you?
MW2, MW3, and Black Ops
Valid.
2.
I never played
Valid.
MW3. I never-
Valid.
I never touched it.
MW3 is valid, bro.
MW3 was
It is
fire.
valid.
It's
It's
valid.
valid.
It's
It's
valid,
valid.
bro.
I
If you
forgot
played
it.
survival on MW3, or no, not survival. If you played, survival. If you played survival on MW3 at that townhouse, bro, and you like made it past round 20, I want to be your best
I
friend.
promise you, there's like 3 people maybe that know what you're talking about.
No, I guarantee you.
Everyone's like,
I guarantee
shut
you,
up.
people are gonna go to this and they're gonna say that you're wrong and that MW2 is the best game ever. MW3 honestly might be number 2 for me, but I think right now it's honestly MW2, Modern Warfare.
No, Modern Warfare is that.
No,
Terrible.
no, not
Modern Warfare is
specifically Warzone.
But it's just
So-
it's too buggy. The game's too buggy.
Low-key, now I'm thinking
the
about
game's
it.
like half finished. I feel like they just kind of gave up. They're like 80% done with the code, and they're like, all right, all right.
anti-cheats, no.
Like, all right, I think it's done.
Low-key, now I'm like really advocating for COD 4 because I totally just forgot about that. Bro, I was addicted to COD 4. During my MW2 phase, I'd hop on COD 4 and like just quick scope. Oh my gosh.
It laid the groundwork.
It did lay
laid
the-
the groundwork.
I think-
You got
I think-
honorable mention.
Honorable mention. I think BO3 needs to be in the conversation too because the zombies was so incredible.
Oh,
Like,
so fire.
I just think BO3 perfected the thrust jump. Like that.
They
that game had the
did,
best
bro.
thrust jump.
Okay,
of
because
any game.
Advanced Warfare in was absolute garbage.
Have you played a Splitgate at all?
Bro, I've been seeing that.
Splitgate's fun.
This is the one where you shoot through the portals, right?
Yeah. It's like Portal meets Halo, but you can thrust
Yeah.
jump. But the thrust jump animation is I'm not
Halo
a huge
Reach
fan.
was fire. Do you guys play Halo Reach at all?
Halo Reach is fire.
Yeah.
One of my roommate, my roommate is a super sweaty Xbox player, but he's Matt, but he's a beta tester for Halo Infinite right now. So
No
he got the beta. So
way.
he's been playing. He's been grinding nonstop all weekend on the beta. It looks really good.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like for zombies, because Are we okay to talk about this? Because I love COD. Zombies, because I'm a diehard zombies fan, right? Like I got into zombies in the original zombies on Nocturne and Token. I'm botching.
Bro, we were just talking about like, bro, we want to get so deep, and now we're like, so, bro, these damn
Bro,
zombies.
Zombies is important. Zombies is important, and there's not enough open dialogue about zombies. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I played the original.
That's how I know
Zombies
you're
map.
bad though. That like the fact
Bro,
that you
I'm
love
s-
zombies this much is all I
I
need to know
love
about you. That's all.
zombies,
That tells me
dude.
everything I need to know.
I love zombies. Okay, the original map was incredible. Black Ops 2 changed zombies forever because they had maps like Buried,
And they added all like the
Easter egg
Easter
stuff,
eggs. Yeah, they
which
added all
which
that stuff.
they had like the hindsight because on those original maps, like these game developers are so smart because on the original maps they had like all these things implemented that we had no idea about, but then as time grew, like we figured out, and I don't know, maybe they wrote the storyline as it kind of went along, but it's like, dude, it's like all interconnected. It's like beautiful.
I still think Kino was the best map. Kino.
Yeah,
Kino was
or the
pretty
original, like
unmatched.
the original Giant was really fire
The original
too.
Giant was good.
But my favorite as of right now is Horizon Draka off of Black Ops 3. I don't think there's any like that. That map is so fun to play. But yeah, okay. Back to
Music and stuff.
back to the music.
Kind of what you were talking about earlier about how you're considering the DAV alias and
Oh, yeah.
starting this kind of side project in a sense of like being able to like use this as an avenue for Christian music and more experimental stuff. Do you know who Dustin Kensrue is?
No.
Okay, so Dustin Kensrue is he's the lead singer and guitarist for a band called Thrice. They're like an early 2000s punk rock band.
Nice.
From Irvine actually.
Oh, sick.
But Dustin
Cool.
Kensrue, I'm not sure exactly the time frame on this, but like a few years ago, he still plays with Thrice. They're old now, but like they still play and tour and stuff. But he started a new alias, and it's just his name. It's just Dustin Kensrue. But he writes like really like good like modern hymns, like covers like old hymns and like all Christian music. And it did like when you
That's
were saying that, it just
sick.
made me think of that. But he totally like took that avenue and like left the like he still does Thrice, but like on the side, like he just himself, like this is like what he puts out in the world, and like he felt like that's what God was calling him to do, and he went with
Yeah.
it. And he does really well, like as a Christian artist.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's definitely kind of like what's happening with
Yeah.
like kind of like that alley.
And he writes
yeah.
really good modern hymns.
That's
if you're
sick.
ever in need of modern hymns.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna check him out.
How much do you think God influences your music, David?
Definitely not like just like what I've released so far. Yeah, I mean because that's
Or
mainly,
just in general, it doesn't have to be about lyrics, but it could be about the songwriting process.
yeah.
Or even like why you do it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
The creative process and like what
Yeah.
pushes you to like keep making music, other than the fact that like it's your passion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, definitely, yeah, that, like, just, like, it's my passion. But, yeah, as far as, like, God and, like, my music, I just think it's, like, such a powerful, like, what do they call it? Just, like, music in general. It's just such a powerful, Shawn Mendes used the word. What is it called? It's just a term that I can't think of off the top of my head. It's just a powerful agent, like music.
Powerful medium.
Yeah, okay.
it's
We said we wanted to get deep. It's like, what is music, It's like, what is music,
Yeah.
So, yeah, just like knowing that music is such a spiritual thing and such a beautiful thing that God made. And it's just very powerful, very impactful.
It has a really unique way of being able to connect people.
Yeah,
regardless
exactly.
Of, religious background, faith.
Yeah, as far as God and like, yeah, I guess.
Even like language barriers, like
Yeah.
thrown out when it comes to music, just because it's a feeling more than anything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
My uncle always says there's three things that connects the world: soccer, surfing, and music.
What?
That
What?
sounds like something your uncle would
It
say.
does. It does. Well, it's true. It's like music is this amazing, expressive thing. Like we could go to some tribe in South Africa right now where they're having a drum circle.
Let's go.
And we could literally, but seriously, like we could go play a cowbell clave part, for like 2 hours straight right now, and we don't have to speak any words.
And we would communicate
We
with
would
them.
communicate
perfectly.
through music, and
Wait, what?
yeah, bro. Well, so
Not like literally communicate, but like we'd be
I
able to understand
yeah.
like what's going on.
yeah, like
Oh yeah.
Caleb and I have played a lot of music together, and I feel like there is and I think that this is a repercussion of the day in which we live in, because we have such great material science today in the day and age we live in. We have explanations for some of the most miraculous aspects about our life. Like, we understand boiling water. Like, we understand, no, but like, no, seriously, for,
One of the most miraculous aspects.
well, no,
Boiling water.
think about it. Like, we understand on a molecular level a lot of the things that go on in our lives. And I think that the reason that we see this incredible new age spirituality, crystals, horoscope centered philosophy that is a philosophy and that is a religion that is coming out of, these great cities like LA and New York, is because we've gone so far with the materialistic naturalistic science that we're now starting to say, okay, there's more to life. There's more than just this material. And so you see all these people and all this youth that are just like,
I love when the universe guides me.
well, yeah, no, seriously, because they feel that because that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like love is not a materialistic thing. Like, if you ever watch The Bachelor, like, nobody's talking about the neurological dopamine connections that they have with each other. They're talking about these superficial ideas of love, and it's because love isn't this tangible materialistic thing that we grab onto through science.
Amen.
It is this thing that is beyond science, and that's the realm of philosophy, because philosophy in its basis is the premise that goes beyond the materialistic. And so when we talk about things like love and spirituality, these are things that are beyond the materialistic, that can't be explained through the material. And so you see this philosophy and this religion and this culture that's coming out of the depths of in which we've experienced natural science. And I really think that there's going to be an abundance and a great awakening in the next 2 decades, because people are really going to search for the spiritual and really find the truth of God's nature.
Yep, focusing more on the spirit than the flesh. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, what do
Yeah.
you think about that whole, what do you guys both think about, like, that whole new age crystal horoscope, kind of ideology that's floating around TikTok and everything right now?
It's funny because I feel like for a lot of people, like, Christianity is really hard to believe.
There's definitely truth behind it.
Yeah,
Like,
but like, I just think it's funny that, like, for a lot of people, it's hard to believe that, like, Jesus walked to earth all these years
yeah,
ago, died on a
Jesus
cross
rose
for your
from the
sins,
dead.
and rose from the dead, so you could be saved. Like, that's hard to believe for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have no problem believing what your phone tells you every morning on your horoscope app, or like.
or like that rocks in the universe
Yeah.
are guiding
And
your
it's
life
like,
and your life path.
Maybe it does, but that just sounds a lot more far-fetched to me than Christianity. And maybe that's because there's actual historical evidence that backs that up, like very
Yeah.
solid historical evidence, and we have the Bible and, like.
What's
things
the
like that.
empirical data that the crystal that you're wearing around your neck gives you more serenity?
Exactly.
But
Like,
we can
it's all
but we can bring up empirical data to talk about the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus
exactly.
Christ.
So I just think
Yeah.
that's interesting. when
Yeah,
you
and I
look at
think when
that.
you talk about someone with that, or like you talk to anyone about that stuff, like if that's what they believe, like the universe, horoscopes, all that stuff. For me, I've kind of, you guys would probably agree, like you probably talk to people that believe in that stuff too. And like you've kind of learned as time went on, like a better way to like start the conversation to like get somewhere rather than nowhere.
Yeah.
And for me, like really focusing on like, okay, like truth, like do you pursue truth? Like, do you care about what's true? I always like ask people that first is like, okay, like do you care about truth? But then like someone will be like, oh, well, truth doesn't exist. Like, but then within that
Well,
question,
is that statement true?
exactly. So it's self-defeating, and yeah, definitely that's just what's helped me.
That's
If any of you,
that's
yeah,
a Frank Turk thing.
yeah,
Because-
exactly.
Because people always say you can't believe in God because there's no ultimate truth.
Yeah. Oh,
And
well,
so the statement, there's no ultimate truth. Is that statement true?
yeah, like that. Oh, you can't say that culture's wrong. Like that's just what's true for them. Like you can't say they're wrong. It's like, okay, well then be intellectually consistent,
Yes.
and then go as far as saying like, yeah, like, oh, like Hitler wasn't wrong for like what he did. Like it's just his truth.
Okay, just to back up on that, to give him some
No, I
context,
actually want to talk about that.
So there's this when you get super deep into the realm of philosophy and moralistic arguments within atheists and David and I are both I think, after, knowing David now for a little bit over a year, really open to talking to anybody who believes anything, because through that, not only do we grow knowledge of what other people believe, but we grow in our faith as well. And so through discussions with atheists, we get always to this point where it's the idea of subjective morality, where it's the belief of there's no true objective morality within the world, that everything's subjective and it's due to cultural normalities that have developed through societies over time. So the question that perpetrates from that statement is that in World War II, the Nazi culture believed that killing innocent Jews was good. And so they followed that belief system in their culture, and they murdered millions and millions of Jews. And so and what David was touching on is, if Hitler had won the war, the global society, and a new child was born, say, 20, 30 years later after they won the war, they were born in this Nazi German ruled world. Would it be objectively wrong to kill innocent Jews because the society says that it's right? And so the atheist has to intellectually, honestly say, well, if society dictates what's truth, if society dictates what is truth, because it's all subjective and built on society, then it wouldn't be wrong for that child to believe that growing up in the society. But obviously, just saying that out loud, it sounds so preposterous
Yeah, exactly.
because
So
it's so stupid.
yeah, sorry, that was a big thing to say, but yeah. So just know,
Very important
Hitler-
to give context.
Yeah,
Yes.
very important to give context.
yeah,
there,
thank
because I
you,
don't want you to get
Michael.
misrepresented.
Yeah, I was just saying that as like an example. Obviously, what Hitler did was like so bad, like
Atrocious.
appalling. It was so bad. So, but yeah, exactly what Michael said. If you're listening on that, that's exactly what I mean. So it's like being intellectually consistent with your beliefs and your worldview. If you believe that society dictates truth, then you have to go where that rabbit hole leads. You can't like keep going and then like stop and then and then steal from my worldview and be like,
Right.
oh well, no, like it is wrong. It's like, well, why? Like, why is it wrong? Like,
You
what
have
do
to
you
be
mean? Like, you have to
intellectually
be consistent with what you're saying is truth, or like, so yeah, Michael did a good job explaining that. So
Yeah, that's a common thing that happens all the time, because today in our world, everything's okay except for Christianity. Really, that's what it boils down to. Everything's okay except for Christianity.
you saw Lil Dicky's thing about like how he was mocking Jesus. How he did a full
What did he do?
I saw that.
yeah, he did like a full performance of him like being nailed to the cross.
Like,
and,
the
mocking
rapper
Jesus.
Lil Dicky?
Yeah, Lil Dicky. Like how he has the new show Dave on
I'm
Fox.
pulling this up because I need to see
Yeah,
this.
pull it up. Yeah, it's crazy. And like he's totally fine. He's not no signs of being canceled by anybody, or like yeah, he's getting a lot of comments like, "Oh, like you should repent, Dave." Like that's
Oh, crazy. He's like
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
nailed
yep,
to a
that's
cross.
him.
Was he rapping while he was
Yeah,
doing
he
this?
was rapping. It was a song. Yeah, it was a whole
So
it was a
Little
whole
Dicky nailed
performance.
himself to a cross and started rapping?
Yeah.
Was he rapping about Jesus?
No, I'm not sure. I wasn't like paying attention to what he was saying, but it was a
Okay.
whole performance, and I do know that like he comes from like a Jewish descent, like a background.
Okay. I think I've heard that before.
Yeah, like him and Benny Blanco, they're both in
Yeah.
like the Dave show. So they could both come from like Jewish descent. So they obviously don't really think Jesus rose from the dead because they're both Jewish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was like a very modern thing to bring up because that happened a couple
that's
days ago.
crazy. There's a lot of, like, for example, and people may not even know this, like in Lil Nas X's, and no hate to these guys, I think oftentimes, and I've made a couple videos on this, I think oftentimes Christians judge these people for their belief systems, and we are called to judge people, when they're sinning, but Jesus did everything through love, and he did everything through compassion and wisdom and truth of the Lord. And so, especially for people who don't believe, I'm not casting any judgment on you. I want to have an open dialogue with you, and I'm really comfortable about that. And I'm not going to tell you what to believe. I'm just going to tell you what I think and the rationality that I've followed. And we can discuss that in discourse. But in Lil Nas X's music video, I forget which one it was, he starts off in the Garden of Eden. It's like, okay, well,
Call me by your name.
yeah, call me by your name.
Brad's
So,
gonna catch you.
so here's a question for Little
Okay.
Nas or for anybody who doesn't believe in God. If the Bible really is just complete mythology and it's just completely not true and it has no relationship to the human experience and it's just this completely thing that is just completely false, why is our culture so obsessed with the stories and the literature that's spoken about and is written in the Bible? Why is the biggest artist in the world spending tens of millions of dollars on set designs to portray a biblical scene? Why is that? Why is that so culturally, aggravating and, polarizing and so cool to see? It's awesome set design and everything. I'm not validating what he did there, but I'm just saying, why is it, if this is just pure mythology, why do we have these things? And I think the truth of the matter is that it's ingrained within our humanity. And someone I think you've listened to before is Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, that's a great point. So yeah, he's basically it's because it says in the Bible, guys, that like God places eternity in our hearts. So that's kind of what Michael's hinting at, is like it's because it's ingrained in us.
Yeah.
And I was gonna build off that, like philosophically too, like with just like God's existence. There was like an old saying, you've probably heard of it, kind of just like like when you're thirsty, like what do you know exists? Like water is out there. It's not like it has to exist. And like food, like when you're hungry, like what do you know? Like there's food somewhere. You have to go eat food. So it's kind of like how human or just humans in general always have this like innate desire for the divine and like God and like the afterlife, and that there's something more than just being here on earth physically. So yeah, it was just kind of building off like what's like placed inside us. So as Christians, we believe it's because God places eternity in us. So our desire for that divine and like that afterlife is because like of what God's placed in us. It's because like we know that like there is an afterlife. There is more to this physical body and this physical life. So
That's really beautiful, bro. I just want to thank you, David, so much for coming on this podcast, man.
yeah, of course.
I
Round of
really,
applause for
yeah,
David,
seriously,
yeah.
snaps and round of applause
Hey,
from everybody.
Thank you.
I really love the music that you've put out, and I'm really excited to, work with you on a lot of more stuff. And I think that, this is such an awesome and open dialogue for you to be a part of, because you have such a great following and people look up to you, especially the younger generation. And just to hear your thoughts and your articulation and your beautifully spoken words, it's really awesome.
Thanks, man.
To have you as a leader.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. It was awesome.
Yeah, seriously.
Appreciate it.
Hey, if you guys enjoy this at all, hit that subscribe button, hit a thumbs up, and turn on the bell notifications. Also, David has a lot of new music coming out, so definitely stay tuned for that. I have a new beat tape coming out called The Beat of Life, so definitely stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. We really appreciate you guys all being here, no matter what you believe and no matter who you are, because I think that these open dialogues is what really propels society forward. So thank you guys so much, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.